in their case, the corruption of children, and I suppose it was inevitable that they should suppress their mutual distrust and dislike in order to further their cause. On this spring day, with not a sniff of a customer, I sat around the counter with Alison, my expectant girlfriend and seller of bangles, and Jeff, my part-time bookstacker, Amnesty International apologist, and conspiracy theory devotee, debating crime and punishment. The secondary school paedophile had indeed fled the country one step ahead of the law, but we were trying to decide what would have been an appropriate punishment had he been apprehended in time. We had already dismissed the usual suspects, counselling and chemical castration, and moved on to actual physical violence involving metallic objects that had to be swung. A claw hammer, was Alison's suggestion. She pointed at her forehead, the side of her skull, and her nose, and said, "Here, here, and here." I disagreed. There were better hammers. I proposed a sledgehammer, or a jackhammer, or a steam hammer, or a trip hammer, or a ball-peen hammer used in metalwork. A gavel would probably be quite appropriate, or a blacksmith's dog-head hammer could certainly do some damage. It really depended what kind of injury you wanted to inflict. I explained that the amount of energy delivered to the target area by the hammer blow is equivalent to 1/2 of the mass of the head times the square of the head's speed at the time of the impact. The formula for this is E equals mv squared over 2. Alison and Jeff looked at me for a little bit. Then Jeff said, "Anyway, I think a much better punishment would be to glue stakes to him, and then throw him into shark-infested waters." "Stakes too expensive," Alison said admirably quickly, which boded well for the future. "You'd be better off with stewing steak," she said. "Or mince. Mince is relatively cheap." "You might have difficulty actually securing the mince to his body," Jeff pointed out. "You would have to keep it in its original packaging, with the styrofoam base and the cellophane. But then, how would the sharks smell it?" "Some blood would leak out," said Alison. "It always leaks out in my fridge." "Maybe they wouldn't be attracted to it. Maybe sharks only like human blood. They might not like cow blood. I mean, has a shark ever eaten a cow?" They both looked at me, the fount of all knowledge. "They've probably eaten a sea cow," I said. "Can you milk a sea cow?" Jeff asked. "Would the milk be salty?" Alison asked. "They're not like our cows," I said, although I suspected they probably knew that. "They're more like seals." "Can you milk a seal?" Jeff asked. "But that's how they feed their young," I said. "Once they hatch," said Alison. "We're getting off topic here," I said. They both nodded. "Okay," said Jeff. "Have we agreed that we can tape a paedophile to a seal and then release him in shark-infested waters?" Alison pointed out that you would have to catch the seal first. "I suppose you could get one from a circus or like a water park." "A performing seal. He could keep a ball up with his nose. He could put on a bit of a show to attract the shark, because maybe not enough blood would have trickled out of the mince, and even if it did, it could be carried away by the tides and currents." I summed up. "So, we're taping the mince to the paedophile, and taping the paedophile to the seal." Alison and Jeff both nodded enthusiastically. I smiled. The flaw in their logic was obvious. If this is designed to be a punishment for the paedophile, and you've taped the mince to him and secured him to the performing seal and released the performing seal in shark-infested waters, don't you think the paedophile will have drowned long before the shark hears about the performance, watches the show, and then gets to tear both the paedophile and the seal to shreds? Doesn't it seem like an awful lot of trouble to go to if he's going to drown in less than a minute?" Alison looked rather crestfallen. Jeff was going the same way, but he suddenly brightened. "Oh, you're forgetting. The seal and the paedophile, they could quite easily be caught in nets." "What? By fishermen, you mean? How would that—" "No.